Okay, let me see here. Let me see something else real quick. Yeah, directional performance is still strong, and if they can manage this week, we're about to get the end of the month here. Do we have 31 days this month? I'm not sure. But they're about to close out the month. We got what? How many days? Let me see here. 2 days left. So we got Monday and Tuesday, and then this month will be closed. And I would say coming up for this week, if they can reclaim this level here and hold it, I can see them starting to build more value here, and then from here going to new all-time highs again. We need to see if there's any more news coming out this week. 29th. Pending home sales at 9 a.m. Central tomorrow morning. We got some FOMC members speaking. That's going to be about it for us on Monday, Tuesday. We have JOLTS job openings. This is going to be a big one. And Chicago PMI will move the market also. And then we have consumer confidence, 8:45, 9 a.m. Central. Depending on how these numbers come out, Monday and Tuesday, that'll tell us what we need to know. And I would say again, if they can manage to reclaim this area right here, take this high out, give us a pullback, and they defend here, we're going to be off to the races, I believe, for new all-time highs. Now, again, here you're going to want to obviously target this 45 and wait for them to, for them to initiate higher here, right? You don't want to be holding any long positions into this area, okay, at all. You need to be out of this trade by then and just either possibly take it short or sit on your hands and wait for them to do some sort of move there. But you do not want to be holding a long position into this area. Okay, so the trade would be, longing somewhere around here and targeting that 45. That's what I can see them doing for this coming up week. At some point, again, depending on how that news comes out Monday and Tuesday. Here we're essentially in a range, right? We still have this really strong low here from the Wednesday FOMC meeting right here. This was the low that we got. Quickly reclaimed it. Within that same day. So, that's letting you know that they're not really interested in trading below here. Okay, they're wanting to stay above. And let me get rid of this. Starting to get a little too many levels on here. They're wanting to stay above clearly this area. They're clearly wanting to stay above that. And the high volume node, the most value is basically being consolidated or split right around here. Okay. We peak below it and they immediately find buyers again. Right. This is that long that we took the other day. And they've just been running it. Right. And I think this was from Thursday. Yes, on Thursday. So to me, it looks like they're not interested in going lower as of now, right? These sellers here really didn't do much, right? Had they taken out this low from the FOMC minutes here where we found these aggressive buyers at, right, that would have let me know, it would have started to alert us that, okay, maybe, this is actually showing some serious weakness and or these guys are showing some serious strength. But as of now, that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be the opposite. It seems to be that they're defending from going down there, right? So this is why, I'm theorizing that this week we should go and make new all-time highs. But again, we this is going to be that key area where we need to reclaim, retest, and defend and go higher, right? It looks to be, if I look here, I can almost bet that there's going to be a 2-week balance in value areas around here. If I go and look at that, that's something that we can look at here in just a second. But yeah, this looks like they're wanting to go higher. They're aggressively defending going lower, right? So they're telling you this is unfair value. They're not really. They're deeming this to be too low, right? Emily, I don't know if you remember the example I gave you yesterday, right? The inventory is too cheap down here. So when it comes back down to this area, they're aggressively buying it up at discount, right? Which again leads me to believe that they want to extend this higher. Yeah, look, here's a 2-week balance here. Yeah, we're pretty much getting the same profile. Once they manage to reclaim this area, they defend it, right? So, today or this afternoon, right? This is going to be a key level here. If they defend this area, which they've been doing, right? This is the area where we were. They managed to break, right? But then they reclaimed it again, right? So, and then here we've got a nice ledge again at 1875, right where we were looking at just now. So this can definitely give you a nice pullback here, guys. I would want them to stay obviously below 722. So that would be, entry around 18, stop loss 22, 23 is going to be a decent area to look at for a pullback. Again, if this fails and they break it, well then, we flip long. But definitely. Definitely right around here, and this is kind of the same thing here. We're getting these two nice ledges here and here, but this price is being contained in between this high volume node here, this 2-week balance. Let's look at this is essentially that peak. This is second sig here running right through the middle. I would be willing to bet that the POC of this accumulation is also going to be right around there. Yeah, right around 751. So when we get here, this is where they're going to stall out at, but we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. There's something that we're going to pay attention to when and if we get there. But yeah, guys, I mean, this is pretty straightforward. This week here, this is a 2-week balance. And again, you basically have a double distribution here. One profile split, second profile ledge here. This is the area where they were defending on Friday, really Friday and Thursday. I would say more Thursday evening and Friday. This is the area they were not trying to go down here, right? So they're kind of letting you know that they are leaning. It seems to be that they're leaning more on the bullish side here, right? And this would be the upper, this would be the upper extreme of this total balance here, right? So again, that's another, just to reiterate this, you do not want to be long into this area at all. If anything, this is where you look for a short, right? This is where we're going to be looking for, either we're going to sit on our hands or wait for take a short for a pullback, right? You know how we like to play these balances. When you get up into this upper range here, you don't want to be taking the market long once you start to get close to the top of this, right? Okay. I'd say, that's pretty much, the potential game plan for this week, for tomorrow, depending on how that news comes out. And the long for today, guys, the long in the overnight session was pretty straightforward as well. Right. Once they manage to stay above this level here, okay, you essentially have your ledge right around here, right? As soon as they manage to stay right around here, right, this was your long here. Granted, you would have had Granted, your stop loss would have been a little bit too wide. They really didn't give that good of an entry here. They gave it, unfortunately, too early for the overnight session. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking for. I think they are going to go and hit 718 here in just a second. And this is going to be a decent short for tonight or tomorrow. Looking for a pullback, potentially back into this accumulation area here, 700 right around here, and we'll just have to wait and see how that news comes out tomorrow. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much what we're looking for tomorrow and just this whole week in general. It looks like all-time highs are very possible. They are aggressively defending, going lower. We have that poor high up here, that ledge still looming. We've got aggression. We've got excess here, excess again here. Granted, it is within previous week's range, right? So it's not as strong, right? But it's still there. They're still this is letting us know that they're defending price from going lower there. So definitely something to pay attention to. We've got a weekly ledge right here at the 720. So again, guys, this is going to be a decent short here for tonight. You could call this here a weekly. Ledge here. Yeah, so this is going to be a pretty decent short for tonight, guys. 713. Yeah, they gotta crack that 714 here. If they can crack that, it'll quickly go to, they'll quickly go and hit the 718 area to give us that short entry. Hopefully they don't reject here at 714. It's very possible they go and do that also, but I'm leaning to them going up to the 718. Hopefully they do. That's where I'm gonna have my limit order set. So that's pretty much it for me. Any questions, anybody?